Hi everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 7 of the 2023 NRL season. Last week I got 4 out of 8 correct, however I would have had 5 out of 8 correct if I had more faith in my own team. But anyways, let's see how many I get right this week. And the first match to kick off round 7 is between Redcliffe, or if you want to call them the Dolphins, against South Sydney. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium. Both of these sides come into this fixture on a win, and for Redcliffe, they've got some good news as well because Jesse Bromwich is expected to return. However, at the same time, Jared Wallace has been ruled out with a Category 1 head knock and has to sit out 11 days. As for South Sydney, it looks like Alex Johnson's going to be back in the team, but Tavita Totola is going to be out again. This will also be the first time that Wayne Bennett comes up against his old side, which he took to the 2021 NRL Grand Final. These tips are not getting any easier as the weeks go by. This is going to be a really tough match to pick. I think it's literally 50-50. It could go either way. I've been leaning towards Redcliffe all day, but for some reason I can just see South Sydney winning this match. I think it'll be a really tight game. I think there'll be a few tries scored, so if you like your tries, this is a game to watch. But I'm going to go for South Sydney to win 1-12 there on the Thursday. I just have a feeling that they're going to back up what they did against Canterbury. And the first match on the Friday is Cronulla Sutherland against Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Shark Park. This will be the 100th meeting between the two clubs since Cronulla entered the competition in 1967. And coincidentally, Cronulla also played their first match ever in the New South Wales Rugby League against Eastern Suburbs, and they won that game at the Sydney Sports Ground. In recent times though, Sydney Roosters have had the win over Cronulla. They've won the last 7 encounters. The last time that Cronulla beat Eastern Suburbs was on the 1st of July 2017 at Gosford, and the last time that they beat them at Shark Park was on the August 27th 2016, the year that they went to go on and win the Premiership. This is another really hard game to pick, but with Cronulla they've got the advantage of coming off the bye, and East had that really tough match against Melbourne last week, so I'm leaning towards Cronulla for this game. And that's how I'm going to go. I'm going to go for Cronulla to win this match by 6 points. I just think that they'll be a bit more fresh coming off the bye, and I think that they'll finally end their losing streak against East on the Friday night down there in Cronulla. And the main match on the Friday is between Manly Warringah and Melbourne. This one's being played at Brookvale Oval. In the last 10 encounters, Melbourne have won 7 of them. And the last time that these two sides played, Manly won 36 points to 30 at Brookvale Oval. But before that, the last time that Manly defeated Melbourne at Brookvale Oval was in round 2, 2015. For this match, I've read that Ruben Garrick will be out after feeling a HIA. Tom Trbojevic is in doubt with some back spasms. Carl Lawton, he suffered a dislocated shoulder and he'll be out for quite some time. However, it looks like Aaron Woods will be in the team for the first time as a Manly player. With Melbourne, they're sticking with the same 17 who beat East last week down there in Melbourne. For this match, I'm going to go Melbourne to win 1-12 there at Brookvale Oval. I think that's out of the two sides, Melbourne have been playing better. They've been quietly going about their business, picking up wins. And even in some matches where they haven't been convincing, they've still been winning. So I'm going to go Melbourne to win 1-12. And I've pretty much tipped Melbourne every week except for one game since the start of the season, so that goes against what Beanie Car Sports said, where I'm always talking Melbourne down. And the first match on the Saturday is between New Zealand and North Queensland. This one's being played at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. These two sides already met earlier in the year, where New Zealand defeated North Queensland 26 points to 12 up there in Townsville. The last time that North Queensland played at Mount Smart Stadium were on the 20th of April 2019, and they defeated New Zealand 17 points to 10. Their overall record at Mount Smart Stadium though is quite poor. Since 1995, when North Queensland entered the competition, they've only beaten New Zealand 7 times there at Mount Smart Stadium. For this match, I'm going to go for New Zealand to win at home there. I think comparing the two sides, how they've been travelling so far this year, I think New Zealand have been playing better. North Queensland haven't really been themselves so far this season as they were last year. So I'm going to go New Zealand to win 1-12 there in Auckland on the Saturday. And the second match on Super Saturday is between Newcastle and Penrith. This one's being played at the McDonald Jones Stadium. In recent times, Newcastle have had a very poor record against Penrith. Since 2015, they've only beaten them twice, with their last victory coming on August the 18th, 2018. They beat Penrith 20 points to 12. With some of the team news I've read, Jayden Brailey looks set to miss about a month of action with a meniscus injury, and it also looks like Tyson Gamble might be back in the team this week. As for Penrith, it looks like Luke Garner might come back into the side, but other than that, it seems like it's going to be 1-17 from the side that beat Manly on the weekend. For this match, I'm going to go for Penrith to win 13 plus. I think that although Newcastle have been playing okay this year, and they have surprised me, they've been doing a lot better than what I thought they would. I just think with Penrith, their attacking prowess is very good. I think they've scored close to 100 points in 2 games. It's going to be very hard for Newcastle to hold them out. So I'm going to go for Penrith to win 13 plus there on the Saturday. And the final game on Super Saturday is the South East Queensland derby between Gold Coast and Brisbane. This one's being played at Suburbs Super Stadium. In this South East Queensland derby, which is big brother against little brother, Brisbane have a good record in the derby. There's been 33 matches played. They've won 23 and the Gold Coast have won 10 since 2007. Brisbane have won the last 3 derby games against the Gold Coast, and 2 of those have been quite high scoring. 2021, it finished 36 points to 28, and in 2022, it finished 35 points to 24. For the Gold Coast, I've read that they're going to be remaining unchanged for this match. As for Brisbane, it looks like Thomas Flegler will miss the derby with a head concussion. For this match, I'm going to go Brisbane to win 1-12. I think that they will bounce back after the disappointment of last week against Canberra. This will be a very tight game, though I think that the Gold Coast will give Brisbane a really good match. I think it'll be very physical. I think it'll be very tight, but I just see Brisbane winning the derby in the end and getting the bragging rights for the next couple of months. And the first match on the Sunday is Canberra against St George, and this one's being played at Bruce Stadium in Canberra. With Canberra, it looks like they're going to be boosted with the return of Jack Whiten, and also Joseph Tarpany is going to be back in the team this week. Understandably, Jordan Rapiner is going to be ruled out after suffering that really bad head knock where Claret were basically pissing all over. And as for St George, it looks like they're going to be without Francis Morlow for 3 weeks after he had a moment of madness trying to take off one of the Gold Coast players' heads. For many years, Canberra had this unbelievable hoodoo over St George. Between 2003 to 2013, St George only managed to beat Canberra once. And I remember in that time, it just didn't seem to matter whatever St George did. They just could not win a game in Canberra. It was just physically impossible for them to do so. This is another really tricky match to call, because is this going to be another case where Canberra put in this amazing effort one week and then they're terrible the next, like what's happened in years gone by? Or is St George going to put in a really good performance? It's really hard to tell. For this match, because Canberra are the home side and because of how they played last week, I can't go past them. So I'm going to go for Canberra to win 1-12. However, I would not be surprised if St George won this match. And the final game to close out round 7 of the competition is the second biggest rivalry in the NRL. It's Parramatta against Canterbury-Bankstown, and this one's being played at the Western Sydney Stadium. These two sides have previously played 152 matches since 1947. Canterbury have won 78, Parramatta's won 69, and there's been 5 draws. Not only do I think that this is the second biggest rivalry in the NRL, I also think it is the second most fierce rivalry in the NRL, both on and off the field. Both sets of supporters don't like each other, but I would say in my personal experience that Canterbury supporters hate Parramatta more than the other way around. In recent times, Parramatta's had the wood over Canterbury. Since 2016, Canterbury's only beaten Parramatta 3 times. For Parramatta, Junior Paulo returns for this fixture after being suspended. With Canterbury, it looks like they're going to be bringing back Viliami Kikau, Tavita Pangai Jr. and Raymond Faitala Mariner for this match. However, we all know that Josh Adokar is going to be out for this fixture and for a very long time afterwards. If you wanted to make this match even more spicy, Reid Marnie plays his first match against Parramatta after leaving the club to sign for Canterbury. I know a lot of Parramatta fans still call him Judas after what he did, and he's upset a lot of the fan base. And you also have Hayes Perham as well at fullback for Canterbury. He crossed over to the dark side after leaving Parramatta at the end of last year. And on the opposite end, there's a potential that Matt Dury might be playing against Canterbury. He was there last year. He couldn't get a game with them in 2022, but he could potentially be running out for Parramatta on Sunday. Today, Parramatta got a very narrow win over the Wests. They made it harder than what it should have been. They were up 22 points to 6, and then they put the cue in the rack and thought the game were done. But Wests nearly come back and won that match and embarrassed them. And it's very similar with Canterbury as well. Was when Canterbury played against West Tigers, they only won by 4 points. But try telling Canterbury supporters that. You see them on Facebook and Instagram saying Parramatta's the worst team ever, even though both sides defeated West Tigers by 4 points each. I think one thing that would concern you as a Parramatta fan is not so much the attack, it's the defence, especially on the edges. West Tigers got around Hayes Dunster and Pellicini way too easy. And with Canterbury last week in the early stages of the match against South Sydney, they were targeting them edges and they were getting around dead easy. And I think Cameron Ciraldo will be definitely showing the players the tapes of the Parramatta game at training this week, and I imagine that a lot of balls going to be going towards Hayes Dunster and Will Pennicini in that side of the field. And I think Parramatta's just got to be really careful on the Sunday when it comes to their defence on the edges. But as we've seen in days, weeks and years gone by with Parramatta, 1 week they can be very unconvincing, and the next week they can put out a performance like they did against Penrith earlier this year, or against Melbourne, where they're defensively very good and quite compact. So it's going to be a really interesting game on Sunday. A lot riding on the line, lots of bragging rights, lots of other stuff thrown into the mixture. For this match, I'm part of the Back Your Boys club. Well, not all the time, but for this week I will be. I'll go for Parramatta to win by 6 points. However, I think if you're a neutral or you're looking to put money on the game, it'd probably be better suggested that you go for Canterbury in this fixture. And also, last but not least, West Tigers are playing the bye. With West, they're currently 0-6 at the moment to start the year, but they play against the bye, who have a lot of players out, and West Tigers will be looking to get their first win of the year. And I think against the bye that they can do it. I think that Charlie Staines will get a hat-trick, and I think that also even Luke Brooks will have a good game against the bye, so I'll go for West Tigers to beat the bye. But that has been my tipping video for round 7 of the 2023 NRL season. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know who you're tipping. And thanks once again for making my tipping video one of the most watched last week. I'm really impressed with the numbers, and thanks to everyone that tuned in last week. And also, if you like rugby league history, then go out and check out my Facebook page. I've got an Instagram page, and I've also got a TikTok page as well. The links for those are in the description below. But anyways, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch us all later in the next video, which will be tomorrow, the Super League tipping video. Alright, tatty bye for now.